did I just watch? Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that the Neon Demon is no perfect movie. So in the Neon Demon, a girl named Jessie, played by Elle Fanning, moves to California so that she can become a model. And whereas most women spend years trying to work their way up to the top of the chain, Jessie almost instantly becomes a big hit. And as a result, many other models start to become jealous and very, very violent. Nicholas Winding Refn is a very experimental director who is both loved and hated by audiences and critics for pretty much the same reason. And that's because his movies mainly tell their stories through visuals and music as opposed to just dialogue. And a lot of the symbolism does involve some very over-the-top violence. And these are just a few of the reasons as to why I really, really enjoyed Neon Demon. In terms of aesthetics, this movie is absolutely flawless. Refn's direction, Natasha Brier's meticulous cinematography, and Cliff Martinez's immaculate electronic score create a very surreal and very intense atmosphere from start to finish. In each shot, actors are symmetrically staged in a certain way that is both visually appealing and it holds the audience's attention for longer shots. For example, one actor will be only on the left side of the frame and another on the right, or three actors who are staged in a way where they resemble a triangle. And the use of colors in the neon lighting, the costume and the set design to illustrate a character's feelings or state of mind, they just make each scene breathtaking to look at. Elle Fanning does a very good job in portraying a young woman who naively and blindly follows instructions from agents on how to be a model, whether it'll be lying about yourself or removing a certain piece of clothing that they ask. And when she starts to become successful as a result, she slowly starts to become obsessed with her appearance, trying on any outfit or makeup that she sees, and she thinks she'll look perfect regardless. And she becomes a little more hostile towards other models because they've had adjustments, if you know what I mean, and she is, in her opinion, just natural beauty. And the progression, I thought, was very well handled, especially in this gorgeous and breathtaking dream sequence that I will not spoil for you. And Jenna Malone, in my opinion, puts the most effort into her performance out of any of the actresses in this movie. And it's not just because her character is very seductive and her jealousy towards Jessie because she's been in Hollywood much longer is identifiable. But it's also in this one scene where, without dialogue, we see that when her character doesn't get the attention that she thinks she desires, she will create the attention that she's looking for in her head while doing something completely different in reality. And that scene alone, if you had seen it, you know that it is a huge risk for any actress to do, and I was really, really impressed with how she pulled it off. Now, there is a lot of visual symbolism in this movie as opposed to dialogue, and these things can be interpreted in more ways than one, and for some people that might be a little bit puzzling. There are a ton of shots that involve either a triangle in the background or foreground, or a character looking at a mirror and looking at either themselves or another character for the reflection. And for some people, this is going to be very puzzling, but for me, I felt like the visual metaphors can say a lot about how we perceive our own looks. For example, when a character sees her reflection in the mirror, you can just take one look at that shot, and without any words, you can guess that either the character is satisfied with their natural beauty or wish that they looked more beautiful. But if you do want a movie that has a more straightforward story that ties up all loose ends, you are going to hate this movie. Because the Neon Demon is meant to raise more questions than answers, and is meant to be, like, analyzed and picked apart the more and more you watch it. And if you're not into movies like that, you're going to hate this movie. And if you're sensitive to nudity and violence in movies, do not see Neon Demon, because it takes a lot to get me worked up about stuff like that. And during the last scene, I actually looked away. It was that fucked up. I'm serious. I have very small complaints with the film. For one, Keanu Reeves does give a very good performance as this sleazy motel owner, and he really proves that he can raise his voice and still sound natural, but his character feels like he's just there to advance the plot whenever he harasses Jesse. Another problem is that because there is a little more dialogue than you usually get from a Nicholas Winding Refn film, there's still, less dialogue than you get in, any other average movie. But there are some stale lines such as, "Do you know what I'm thinking?" which is followed by, "No, what are you thinking?" And because these lines feel so forced, the actors' voices can sound a little flat sometimes. And another problem which will also bug a lot of people is that whenever a scene ends, it just abruptly cuts to something that can either be unrelated, and for some people they will be thrown off, but if you're as patient as I am about it, you probably won't be bothered that much by it. So the Neon Demon isn't quite as good as Drive, which is hands down one of my favorite movies of all time. But I feel like it's much better than Only God Forgives, which is also a good movie, by the way. But for me, the story is much more cohesive, and it's much more identifiable, too, in terms of how we analyze our own looks. The symbolism is much more poetic, in my opinion, and the film itself is just so gorgeous to look at, despite the fact that these characters are committing very gruesome acts sometimes. And for that reason, I'm going to give The Neon Demon a 4 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe down below. Be sure to check out my other reviews at NoPerfectMovie.com. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care.